And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways.
Hi guys, my name is Madalyn Cline and welcome to my YouTube channel. Anyone who knows me knows that this has been a long time coming. I've literally been planning this for about 3 years now. There were many reasons why I waited. First of all, I didn't want to do it in high school just because that was a personal preference of mine. That's just not something I was wanting to do while I was in high school. Second, I wanted to be completely prepared. I want to be really proud of my work. I want to be able to show it off in the best way possible. And so in order to do that, I wanted to buy my own camera and my lighting and some backdrops that can help, enhance the looks I've done. And I also wanted to go to school. I wanted to go to makeup school before I started teaching other people makeup, only because for me that's a personal preference. If I'm going to possibly be teaching people how to apply prosthetics or block out their eyebrows or anything like that even, I wanted to be able to do it correctly so I'm not putting someone possibly in harm's way, because a lot of the tools that you can use in makeup can actually hurt you. I enjoyed going to school. I recently graduated from cinema makeup school. It is definitely like one of the best decisions that I've made. I loved going to school there. I loved all my teachers. I love what I can do in my spare time. I love that I can get this together and actually start working on projects, and I love seeing how they turn out personally. I think the favorite one I've done so far is the Phantom of the Opera inspired one, and I think that just kind of came into the lighting and how I had a red light bulb behind me. And the funny thing with that one is when I did that makeup, I was having a lot of difficulty, and I was just kind of playing around with it until I figured out something that I wanted to do. I constantly was putting makeup on, taking it off, putting it on, taking it off, and I just kept pushing myself. And I think that is why it is one of my favorite looks, is because I struggled so much making it, but I didn't give up, and it came out to be personally my favorite makeup that I've done. And I love looking back on that one because I know what struggles I went through to get to that point, but how proud I am of the outcome. Also, I didn't get moody when I was doing that. Sometimes if I get stressed out with makeup, I get moody, which is normal because you get frustrated, because it's like if you can't get the photo correctly, it's like you just wasted 4 hours of nothing because you can't photograph it. It's because it's not like a drawing where it's like you have it and it's perfect. You have to get the perfect picture too, or one that you feel shows off the makeup the best. And so I was really struggling with, the application and then the photos, but I stayed positive, and I think that's what helped me do better. Is I don't know what it was. I was just really happy that day, and I was just like, it's fine, it's fun. And I think it's because as a makeup artist, you set your expectations pretty high for every look. This one, because I didn't really know what I was doing, I was just like, let's just go with it. Let's see where this goes. I don't really know what I'm doing. I've never tried something that detailed and intricate before, because I don't know about y'all, but I'm not good at drawing straight lines on paper, let alone on my face, which is 3-dimensional, and I was able to do it. I just think it's one of those situations where it's like practice makes perfect. You get better over time. So this video is kind of going to be a little bit of everything. It is going to be a get ready with me everyday makeup tutorial, just because I feel like that's simple and easy, and obviously that's the look I do the most. So I think it's, a nice video to start out with. Also, I want it to be a get to know me. And so that's why it's also a get ready with me, because that way I can talk through and just kind of talk about some things that, I think it'd be fun if y'all knew about me. If you already know it, that's great. If you don't, welcome to my life. There's a lot of things that it's just kind of like, Maddie, why? And you're just kind of like, well, it's fine. Everyone is unique, and I think that's very important to be able to see in a person, and I think it is refreshing to get to know somebody, even the weird things about them. So I'm excited for this. Let's get started. So we're just gonna go ahead and start out by pinning my bangs back, just because I don't know about y'all, but I can't always work when my hair is I can't work with this in my face. So we're just gonna go ahead and put that back. Usually what I do is I go ahead and start out either moisturizing my face or priming my face. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start out using my Renewed Hope in a Jar Dry, and this is by Philosophy. I am very dry skinned, especially around my nose. I like to call that the Sahara Desert of my face. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take some of that and apply that on my nose and just bring it under the eyes a little bit to moisturize that area. I'm going to go ahead and put that on my forehead as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my NYX Studio Effect Photo Loving Primer. And I'm just going to put a little bit on my cheeks and forehead, my nose. And this is going to help keep your makeup on all day. And so I'm just going to go ahead and massage that into my skin. I'm going to go ahead and block out some of those blemishes on my face with the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser for Dark Circles, and I'm using the shade Medium. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover up the little blemishes. Then I'm just going to go ahead and take my foundation brush, and I'm just going to buff that out. Okay, now we're going to go straight into the eyebrows. So I'm just going to go ahead and start by brushing them out. I'm just going to go ahead and go in and start by outlining my eyebrows. Here's something I think should be known, is the process of makeup is not always beautiful. It is what comes out of it, because you're going to see plenty of times in the video where, because it's not completed, it's going to look weird. But then the completed look, it pulls everything together. So I'm just going to go ahead and start by outlining my eyebrow. And then we're going to just brush it out. So, a little get to know me thing is how I got into wanting to do makeup. I think I have to thank theater for this one. I always found makeup tutorials entertaining and interesting, and I always loved watching them. And then I started, I got into theater. And through theater, there was this contest for theatrical makeup, and so basically they would give you a play and then a prompt, and you would have to go along with that and kind of create your own character. And through doing that, I found that I loved applying makeup rather than just doing my own. And I felt really creative when I was doing that. I felt like I was coming up with ideas that I wouldn't have thought of unless I was given this opportunity to push myself. I actually was going to be going to Texas State for being a theater major, and I don't know, I went to the new student orientation and everyone was super nice and it was really fun, but at the same time something kind of felt off and I didn't know what it was. And I found that when I went to new student orientation, I kept asking about the makeup class, and oh my gosh, the advisor I had was so beyond helpful that she offered to put me in this makeup class. Even though it was full, she just sent me the information to email the directors, and I sent them all of my work, and they made space in the makeup class to fit me. And I was like, what more can I want? I'm in a makeup class in college. They only had this makeup class for one semester. You couldn't really go anywhere from that. And so I was just like, it's fine. You're gonna be a theater major, it's fine. And my dad called me into his office one day. He and my mom had both been noticing that something was off about me, even though I fully wasn't even aware of it. Also, by the way, I'm just currently filling in the outline that I just did, doing individual brush strokes. And so he just noticed that something was off, and he was just kind of like, do you really want to go to Texas State? And I don't know why, but for some reason I just broke down and I was crying and I was like, I don't know, I don't think so. When I had my senior photos, I got my makeup done, and her name was Judith, and she's amazing. I give so much credit to her for finding the school I did, because she's the one who introduced me to it. She had been telling me about cinema makeup school, and I've been looking into it because when I was looking into college, I was like, okay, you know what I'll do is I'll go to college for 4 years and then I'll go to this makeup school. And then went down to I'll go to college for 2 years and then I'll go to the makeup school. And I was like, I'll go to college for 1 year and then go to makeup school, and 2, I will go to college for a semester and then go to the makeup school. Mind you, look at how much money I would be wasting if I had just gone to college for 4 years. I told my dad about this makeup school that she'd been telling me about, and it was in Los Angeles, and how I was really interested in going there. And he just kind of looked at me, and I knew I wasn't always required to go to college. That wasn't a thing for my family. It's you have to go to college. That was more of a society thing, where it's in order to be successful, you have to go to college. you have to take this education system in order to be successful, instead of follow your dream and do what you love and be able to support yourself at the same time. He told me that I didn't have to go to college. They just wanted me to be happy. And I told him about this makeup school, and we all looked into it, and he said that if this is what I really wanted to do, that I could go. And so literally it was a month until my move-in day when like I finally made the decision, like I'm no longer going to go to college. I'm going to follow my dream and become a professionally certified makeup artist. Now I already had like a certification. It was an online certification, but this is like everything I needed. It was beauty, it was special effects, prosthetics, like everything that I would want to know as a makeup artist that I could grow from. So that is how I found and decided I wanted to not go to college to be a theater major, but to go to cinema makeup school and be a professional makeup artist. Now through this I knew I wanted to do YouTube, so that's why I also wanted to go to cinema makeup school, is because I wanted to know everything before I started teaching it, just because it can be dangerous at times. Once again, with the eyebrows, I'm just outlining them and filling them in with individual brush strokes so they're kind of blocked out, if you will, like the shape is just kind of like very blocky. What I think is very important when doing this technique is you're going to take the brush side of your pencil, and if yours doesn't have one, you can always go buy one of these from a drugstore. I know e.l.f. Cosmetics has one where it's just the spoolie. So you're just gonna go ahead and take the spoolie and you're just going to go ahead and brush through your eyebrow with the product. So you're going to what you're kind of doing is erasing what you did, but you're not completely erasing it. It depends on how hard you brush as well. I like to just casually bring it through. And this is going to get rid of any harsh lines and make the brush hairs look a little bit more natural. I will admit, my brows don't always look natural when I have them. This is what I like on my face. If you don't like them, you can always fill them in more naturally or whatever suits you best. There's no guidelines to makeup. There's no right or wrong way to do something. There's no right look. There's no wrong look. It is whatever you want to do, what makes you feel more beautiful. If what makes you feel beautiful is dark smoky eyes and a bold lip, do it. No one says that because you have a dark smoky eye, you have to have a nude lip. Like, if it makes you feel beautiful, wear it. If what makes you feel beautiful is no makeup at all, embrace that. Like, it's whatever you want and what you love. Once again, just checking to make sure that they're reasonably even. They're never going to be quite even, and I've accepted that. When your profession is makeup, you're kind of expected to be perfect, and that's not realistic. That's another thing. I'm a makeup artist and I am a professional. I'm not going to be perfect. Please do not expect perfection from me. This is a learning experience for me as well. I hope that I am doing makeup differently in 5 years than I'm doing it now, because that shows that I've learned. That shows that I've evolved and grown in my technique. I'm never going to be perfect when it comes to this. I can do things where I'm like, oh, it's beautiful, it's great, but it's not gonna be perfect, and that's totally fine. Now we're just going to go ahead and take the NYX Taman Frame Pomade, and this is in the shade Espresso, and we're just going to go ahead and put that on the outer arch of our brows. I like this because personally it gives my brows more of an ombre effect, and I like that. So on to another fun topic. While I was doing finals in sculpting, I don't know about you guys, but usually music helps me focus, and so I'm always listening to music. Typically it's Broadway music because I'm that kind of person and I love being that kind of person. So I will typically listen to Broadway music, but for some reason, while I was sculpting in both prosthetics and special effects, I could not focus. So I was like, okay, well, what am I gonna do to help me focus, because we're in class 6+ hours a day. I found that, have you guys heard of creepypasta? I know that's like such a weird word, but essentially that is just another word for scary stories. And you can find these creepypastas online and listen to them. Okay, so now we're just gonna go ahead and take the Brow Stylist Plumper in medium to dark, and we're just gonna go ahead and brush that through our our eyebrows so we can set them. So anyway, creepypasta is essentially these either stories or true stories that people have written or written in blogs, and people go through and find them and they reread them. It's kind of like an audiobook for scary things, but you can find them on YouTube. And for some reason, I was focusing so well listening to creepypasta as opposed to listening to music. Like, I'm not even kidding. So I don't know, but I definitely recommend if you might be having trouble struggling. And mind you, I can't do scary things, but this was okay. I don't know how to explain it. This was okay. Now I'm just going to go ahead and go on to my foundation, and I'm going to take the IT Cosmetics CC Plus cream, and I'm going to take the shades Light and Medium. I'm just going to go ahead and take a little bit of both. The only complaint I have is sometimes the packaging is kind of messed up. So for example, I will be going to squeeze it and nothing will be coming out, but it's not empty. Like this happened like when I got it like a week after, so I just kind of have to play with it a little bit. So then I'm just going to go ahead and take a foundation brush. I'm going to mix those two together on the back of my hand. I'm just going to go ahead and put that on my face. And then I'm just going to go ahead and buff it out once I kind of have it everywhere. So kind of going back to the scary stories, I can never really watch scary movies just because I'm such like a, I can't, don't show me these things. I'll think it's real and then I will never be able to sleep by myself ever again. I didn't ever really watch scary movies, but when I would, you know, I would definitely have to like prepare myself, or like I'd skip through it, or you know, turn the volume off, or like look away or something like that. And so I could like never really watch them completely, or you know, in its full extent, just because I would be so scared. Going to makeup school kind of ruined that for me a little bit. Like I'm not that scared watching scary things anymore or listening to scary things, only because from the makeup aspect I see all of the details. You don't know unless like you've gone through the training to see like edges and stuff like that. So I will see things that I know how to apply, and somehow that takes away the scary aspect. It's like this weird, I know how to do that so it's not scary. But it's funny because I actually haven't seen a lot of the scary movies that everyone in my school has seen, just because like you go to makeup school and like these like, oh, have you seen Evil Dead? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I'm sorry, don't attack me, I'll watch it or something. I just like remember the little girl in like the trailer or whatever, and like she's like creeping up and she has like the yellow eyes and she's like, ah, and I'm like, I can't, no. Also, contacts can completely change a look. If like you feel like getting all pizzazzy and stuff, go ahead and get a pair of colored contacts. That's gonna add some more factor to it. I recommend bringing your makeup down to your neck so that way it kind of fully blends. I don't mean like full foundation on the neck. I just mean kind of like bring it down and then kind of blend it out a little bit so you can get, you know, similar shades to the rest of your body. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and apply my concealer under my eye. This is the NYX HD Studio concealer, and this is in the shade CW02. I'm just going to go ahead and put some of that under my eyes. These are going to be in the places where I want highlights. And I'm going to go ahead and put that a little bit above my cupid's bow, on my chin, and then even I'm going to bring that up onto the highlight of my forehead. And I'm going to do a little bit on the bridge of my nose. So then I'm going to go ahead and take a damp beauty blender. This is the Morphe beauty blender, and I'm just going to go ahead and start pressing that onto my skin. And this is going to blend it out. I don't recommend pulling and dragging because that will lift the makeup and you will actually bring out, like, you'll take off your foundation underneath and then you'll have to reapply it. And so just pressing motions, like little tapping motions. Something I love to talk about all the time is zodiac signs. Now, I don't necessarily I'm like, oh, the stars have all the answers. Like, it's nothing like that. I just think they're so entertaining and fun. If you want, go ahead and mention what zodiac you are down below, as I'd love to see what signs you guys are. Okay, actually, I want you to take a guess. Do you have your guess? This is awkward because I'm just talking to a camera at the moment, so like, do you have your guess? So I am an Aries, actually, which I think is kind of funny because typically Aries are like aggressive people, and I mean, I don't like to think of myself as aggressive, but if you think I'm aggressive, I'm sorry, I apologize. So now once again, I'm just doing that under my eyes, Sometimes I'm gonna make really weird facial expressions. Once again, makeup is not always beautiful in the process, so you're gonna be seeing me making funny faces throughout this whole video. Speaking of zodiac signs, do you guys happen to know your moon sign as well? So there's your sun sign and your moon sign, and if I'm correct, your sun sign is for me like Aries because I was born March 23rd, but your moon sign is more specific as to the location you were born, the exact time, and all that stuff. And so my moon sign is actually Aquarius, which is really fun because my best friend, her sun sign is Aquarius. So I think that's kind of nifty. Yeah, there should be like a generator or calculator or something online, so if you guys want to look up what your sun and moon sign are, you can do it like that. I actually thought about taking like classes on like astronomy and stuff like that, so who knows, maybe one day. Plot twist, I'm actually going to be an astronaut, so joke's on you. You thought, oh my gosh. So after that, I'm just gonna go ahead and set that under eye concealer. I'm just going to go ahead and take a buffing brush. This one is Bare Minerals, I believe, and it is the number 45. I'm just gonna go ahead and take the Too Faced Cocoa Contour Palette, and I'm going to take the shade Light Cocoa. So I'm just gonna press that onto my buffing brush, and I'm just going to press that in. Now, generally, a lot of people like to bake their makeup. You can bake if you want, but because this is my everyday makeup routine, I do not bake on a daily basis. I will bake maybe every once in a while if I'm feeling it. Typically, I'm not feeling it. It's probably gonna change at some point. Once again, just putting that everywhere where I put the concealer. I'm going to go ahead and set my entire face with a translucent powder. I'm using the Airspun translucent powder. I'm just gonna go ahead and put some of that on my brush. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that all over my face, just so I can set the foundation before I start putting my contour on. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take my Morphe R13, and once again we're gonna go back to the Cocoa Contour Palette, and I'm going to take the shade Medium Cocoa, and I'm going to start by sculpting out that cheekbone. So I'm just gonna go ahead and follow my cheekbone down. Just bring it up a little bit. So basically I'm kind of making like an L. I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat that on the other side. I'm gonna bring that down on the jaw as well. Then, because we blend our foundation onto our neck, I personally also like to blend my contour down to my neck. So I bring some right here, kind of like right where the throat is. I kind of like to contour that. Then right here as well. Then I'm gonna go ahead and so I'm gonna take another Morphe brush, and I'm just gonna go ahead and buff that out a little bit before I go on to the second color. So I'm just gonna buff that out so it blends a little nicer. Sometimes when I do my contour, I accidentally get harsh lines. You just kind of want to help alleviate that if at all possible. Now we're going to take the shade Dark Cocoa, and we're going to go right over that. And I like to do this to kind of bronze, but also deepen. Sometimes it's not always good to put bronzy shades where you put contour, because bronzy shades are supposed to be like, you know, more orange, and contour is supposed to have more of the taupey undertone. But personally, I like the way that this looks. Go ahead and buff that out. A good way to also deepen the colors is if you use cream contour and then powder contour over top of that. And then we're going to contour the nose. So this is the fun part, personally, just because I like to think I'm somewhat decent at contouring my nose, but I don't think I am. So we're gonna try and slim this honker down a little bit. I'm just gonna go ahead and deepen into that Medium Cocoa again, and I'm just going to outline the bridge of my nose slightly. Kind of bring that up to my brow just a little bit, just so it gives it a little bit more shape. I'm going to stop right here and barely just bring it down, like in flicking motions, but not nearly as much product as I have right here. I'm going to do the same on the other side. And what I'm doing is where we put the concealer to highlight, I'm basically shadowing the edges of that just so it gives my nose a slimmer look. I'm going to do a little bit on the tip of my nose, just kind of make a V. Now I'm going to take the buffing brush from before. I'm just going to go ahead and buff that out and try to blend it. So now we're going to go ahead and get into blush. Personally, what I've been liking recently is I've been using the Lorac Buildable Blush in Tinge. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take my blush stippling brush and I'm just gonna go ahead and put that on the brush, tap off the excess, and then I'm going to smile. And when you smile, you're going to bring out the apples of your cheeks, and then you're just gonna go softly stipple that on. So it's like this. So you're just gonna go ahead and stipple that on. I usually don't like going any further than where you smile the smiling lines, just because then it's too close to the nose. And I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Then we're just gonna go ahead and highlight, and I'm going to take the Anastasia That Glow Kit. I usually stick to Dripping in Gold and Bubbly and using those as the main colors, and then the others to add more accent. So then I'm going to go ahead and set all of this with my translucent powder again. And what I like about this is this usually will alleviate some of the harsh lines. So for example, sometimes my blush I think is too pigmented, but then I put this translucent powder over it and I feel like it just naturally blends everything together. Another totally random thing, because I feel like, you know, people always ask this when getting to know you or something like that. Like if you meet someone and they're like, oh, who was that? Hello. I just felt like Simba when he was like, yeah. Simba. Speaking of, that actually has to do with it, is Disney. This question I love answering is when someone is like, what's your favorite Disney movie? Because typically people start thinking like, oh my gosh, it's a Disney princess. And I love kind of being like, maybe when I was a kid. I kind of want you to guess again what you think my favorite Disney movie would be. My favorite Disney movie is actually Treasure Planet. I don't know if you guys have seen that one, but oh my gosh, if you have not seen it, I highly recommend watching it. It was just like, that movie was just golden when like I was growing up. Like literally just amazing, everything about it, because it's based off of Treasure Island, but instead of Treasure Island, it's like in space and it's futuristic. So like instead of just like sailing across the seas, they literally sail across the universe, which is also where one of my favorite quotes comes from. And it's whenever, shoot, what's his name? Cyborg. They call him Cyborg, but he also has like an actual name. Anyway, Cyborg, he's like, you've got the makings of greatness in ya. He's like, you could rattle the stars. Like, I love that quote so much. My favorite like actual wording of it is Sarah J. Maas when she says, you could rattle the stars. I love that. Also, another quote by, why not just talk about some quotes? This one is actually from my favorite book. They're making a toast and the guy says, to the stars who listen and the dreams that are answered. Like, how many of us have wished on a star when we were kids? And, okay, so I guess now we can like talk about books as we're going into our eye makeup. I will take my Too Faced Cocoa Contour Palette and I will use them as eyeshadows. So I will take a flat brush and I will take the light cocoa shade and I will dust that under my eyebrows for the brow highlight. This is also very quick for me because instead of like, I mean, once again, it's like the simplest difference, but instead of like using other colors and having to really worry about blending, I just use my contour shades. So once I have that, I'm going to take the brush that we took to do our nose contour and I'm going to put that into medium cocoa. I'm just going to go ahead and blend that into my crease. And this is basically going to be our base crease shade. So while I'm doing that, that's what I was talking about. I love reading. I have always loved reading. I kind of stopped reading more when I was in high school just because I didn't have enough time. And then all of a sudden, I come back like end of spring break of my senior year and my friend was telling me about this book and I read it. Lo and behold, then I'm like 76 books later. I read 76 books last year. And these are like full fictional books that are like 300 plus pages and I regret nothing. I think like I will read any, like if you're like, hey, let's go to Barnes & Noble and buy some books, there will be no question. I like to think of Barnes & Noble as my kingdom. Like if I had a castle, it would most likely be Barnes & Noble just because it's like, it's everything I want in life, honestly. So then once again, I'm just blending that in and honestly, you can spend so much time blending just because you're getting rid of any harsh lines and harsh edges. So that's just kind of what I've been doing for a bit now. So then we'll come back to the crease in a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and take a flat brush. So I'm going to use the highlight color, which is Pop of Light. I'm just gonna go ahead and press that onto my lid. Now this has a little bit of glitter in it. I like using just a little bit just so I can get more of a awake look and just add a little bit, you know, a little bit of glitter. It's nice. But I like how it's subtle too. Like it doesn't add a lot more color, it just adds a little bit of shine. So we're just gonna do that, and then once again take your blending brush and just blend that on the crease. And we're gonna take the dark cocoa shade and we're just gonna deepen that crease. Once again, this is a very simple, neutral eyeshadow, but we're also going to do winged liner, so that's kind of what I like, is that it's more like the wing is the focus. And then that just accents my eyes, because I like to do whatever I can to bring out the green in my eyes. So I will take the NYX Epic Ink Liner in black, and what I'm gonna go ahead and start out by doing is I'm just going to draw the line that I want my wing to be. If I were to take the end of my eye and bring it straight up to like meet my eyebrow right here, that is where I want my line. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw that real fast. Boom. Okay, line drawn. I've drawn a line in the sand. I'm going to draw a line connecting that over to my eyelid. And I'm just gonna slowly angle and bring it down. Okay, so now that I have like this awkward start and end point, I'm going to just go from the lash, where like my first lash is, against the lash line, and just bring it over. And then same thing over here, I'm just gonna kind of slowly connect the lines. So it still kind of looks weird, so now I'm just gonna fill in this gap. Go ahead and start on the other eye, repeating the same process. I'm going to take my Maybelline Pumped Up Colossal Mascara. I'm just gonna go ahead and brush that through my lashes. So after I have a nice coat of mascara on, I'm going to go ahead and take my eyelashes and apply glue to them, because when you apply the glue to eyelashes, you have to wait for them to get tacky before you apply them, because if you just apply them without waiting for them to get tacky, they're just gonna fall right off your face. So I'm taking the Kiss Ritzy lashes. These are my all-time favorite lashes. And I like doing a little bit more glue on the inner and outer corners, just because those are the two places that if my lash starts to come up, it is most likely either the inner or the outer corner of the lash. And then you're just gonna set that aside and you're gonna wait for it to dry. Or not to dry, but for it to get tacky. I'm going to go ahead and do tiny minor details. So for example, I like to put black on my upper waterline just because I feel like that makes my lash line look thicker. I'm going to go ahead and take my lid and lift it up, and I'm just going to take the pencil and put it on that upper lash line sometimes because I think it adds to the look. So I'm just gonna go. Okay, so then we're just gonna go ahead and take my Maybelline Lasting Drama Waterproof Gel Pencil, and this is in the shade Soft Nude. And I'm just gonna go ahead and lightly pull down my lower lash line. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this to my lower waterline. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this on the other eye. I feel like this just opens up the eye. I'm going to go ahead and do some lip liner while my lashes are still doing their thing. And so I'm going to take the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Lip Pencil in Deep. I'm just gonna go ahead and outline my lips. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and get on to lashes. I'm gonna go ahead and just apply this lash. Okay, and then we're just gonna press it on. I like to apply the center first, and then I will go to the outside and push it down. And then I'll go to the inner corner and bring that in and press that in. And so once I feel it is fully applied, I'm going to take my tweezers. I'm going to take it over my natural and fake lash, and I'm just going to press them together so they can fully kind of merge. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And do the same thing on this side. So this is the Sephora liquid lip, and it is in the shade Big. I love this so much. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply it to my lips. Okay, so this is the finished look. This is my everyday makeup routine, and y'all got to know a little bit about me. I'd love to get to know a little bit about you. If you feel like commenting down below, I would love to read them and respond and kind of get to know you as well. Feel free to press the like button and subscribe if you'd like to see more of my videos. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoyed this, and I can't wait to produce more videos for you guys. So I will see y'all in the next video. Bye! I feel like my light looks like Sauron from Lord of the Rings. This just got a lot more fun.